The midnight meeting, the fluorescent lights of Memorial Hospital's emergency room hummed softly in the stillness of midnight. Marcus Sullivan sat alone in the waiting area, his 6-year-old daughter Emma sleeping fitfully against his shoulder. Her small chest rose and fell with labored breaths, each one making his heart clench with worry. Marcus was 32 years old, but tonight he felt ancient. His dark hair was disheveled, his black V-neck shirt wrinkled from a long day that had stretched into an endless night. Emma had spiked a fever that evening, the thermometer climbing past 103 degrees. When she started struggling to breathe, panic had seized him completely. He was alone in this, always alone. 3 years had passed since his wife Rebecca died in a car accident on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. 3 years of learning to braid hair and pack lunches and explain why Mommy wasn't coming home. 3 years of being both mother and father, of carrying double the love and double the fear. Tonight, that fear felt suffocating. The nurse had assured him they would be seen soon, that Emma's breathing was stable enough for now. But soon felt like forever, and stable enough wasn't the same as safe. Marcus felt the hot sting of tears building behind his eyes. He tried to hold them back, to be strong like he always was, but exhaustion and terror were powerful forces. A tear slipped down his cheek, then another. His shoulders began to shake as silent sobs overtook him. He pressed his face against Emma's soft hair, breathing in her familiar scent of strawberry shampoo and childhood innocence. "Please be okay," he prayed silently. Please be okay. Excuse me." The voice was gentle, feminine, and close by. Marcus looked up quickly, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand. A woman stood a few feet away, holding 2 steaming cups of coffee. She appeared to be in her early 30s, with long blonde hair that fell in soft waves over her white sleeveless top. Her green eyes held a depth of understanding that caught him off guard. "I'm sorry," Marcus said hoarsely, trying to compose himself. "I didn't mean to." "Please don't apologize," she said softly, settling into the chair beside him. She set 1 coffee cup on the small table between them. "I've sat in these chairs before. I know that pain too." Marcus studied her face more carefully. There was something in her expression, a shadow of old grief that matched his own. She wasn't just being polite or offering empty sympathy. She understood. "I'm Victoria," she said quietly, glancing at Emma with tender concern. "Your daughter?" "Emma," Marcus managed, his voice thick. "She's 6. High fever, trouble breathing. They said it might be pneumonia." His voice cracked on the last word. Victoria nodded slowly. "I lost my husband 2 years ago," she said, her gaze distant. "Heart attack. He was 35 years old. Healthy one day, gone the next." She paused, taking a slow breath. "We didn't have children, but I remember rushing him here that night. I remember sitting in this exact waiting room, watching the clock and praying for time to move faster and slower all at once." Marcus felt fresh tears threatening. "I don't know how to do this alone," he whispered. "Every time she gets sick, every time she cries, I wonder if I'm enough. If I'm doing it right. If Rebecca would know what to do better than me." "You're here," Victoria said simply. "That's what matters. You brought her the moment you knew something was wrong. You're holding her. You're scared because you love her. That's not failing, Marcus. That's being exactly the father she needs." Something in her words broke through the wall Marcus had built around his heart. He had spent 3 years being strong, being both parents, never letting anyone see him falter. But here in the middle of the night, with a stranger who somehow understood, the armor cracked. "I'm terrified," he admitted. "Every single day. What if something happens to me? What if I'm not enough? What if you're exactly enough?" Victoria interrupted gently. "What if all the love you have for her is precisely what she needs to grow up feeling safe and cherished?" Emma stirred slightly, murmuring in her sleep. Marcus adjusted his hold on her, his hand automatically checking her forehead. "Still warm, but maybe not quite as burning as before. How do you do it?" Marcus asked. "How do you keep going when the person you planned your life with is gone?" Victoria was quiet for a long moment. "Some days are harder than others," she finally said. "But I found that helping others, connecting with people who understand loss, it makes the burden lighter." My husband left me with resources I never asked for. He was successful in business, built something from nothing. When he died, I inherited everything." She paused. "Money doesn't fill the emptiness, but it can do good things. I've been funding pediatric care programs, helping families who can't afford treatment." Marcus looked at her with surprise. "That's incredible. It gives me purpose," Victoria said softly. "It helps me feel like his legacy continues in ways that matter." She turned to face him directly. "I saw you sitting here and I saw myself 2 years ago. That same expression of someone carrying the world alone. I just wanted you to know you're not alone. Not tonight, at least." Before Marcus could respond, a nurse appeared. "Emma Sullivan." Marcus stood quickly, gathering his daughter in his arms. Emma's eyes fluttered open, confused and feverish. "Daddy," she whispered. "I'm here, sweetheart," he said. "The doctor's going to help you feel better." Victoria stood as well, touching his arm briefly. "You're a good father, Marcus." "She's lucky to have you." The next few hours blurred together. The doctor confirmed pneumonia, but assured Marcus that Emma had been brought in quickly enough. They started her on antibiotics and breathing treatments. As the sky outside began to lighten with dawn's first rays, Emma's fever finally broke. Marcus dozed in the chair beside her hospital bed, relief washing over him in waves. When he woke, sunshine was streaming through the window, and Emma was sleeping peacefully, her breathing clear and steady. On the small bedside table, he found a folded piece of paper with a phone number. Victoria's handwriting was elegant but warm, for the hard days when being strong feels impossible. "Coffee, conversation, or just someone who understands. You don't have to carry everything alone. Victoria." Below her number she'd added, "P.S. Emma's hospital bill has been taken care of." One parent to another. Marcus felt tears spring to his eyes again, but this time they weren't from fear or despair. They were from gratitude, from the unexpected kindness of a stranger who saw his pain because she had lived it too. In the midst of his darkest night, in a sterile emergency room at midnight, 2 broken people had found a moment of connection, and somehow that made the weight of single parenthood feel just a little bit lighter. Marcus looked at his sleeping daughter, then at the note in his hand. Maybe, he thought, they would both be okay after all. Maybe healing came not from being strong all the time, but from allowing others to share the burden. Maybe, in this vast and sometimes cruel world, they weren't quite as alone as they'd thought.